Hello, sports fans. Kirk Carpenter with the Connie Mack World Series recap. Round 2 took place yesterday and featured 6 games, 3 elimination games and 3 winners bracket games. Game number 9 was actually the first game to take place during the day. And if you look at your bracket, you're thinking, well, isn't 8 before 9? Well, it is, but when you get the host team involved in the Connie Mack World Series and they follow the loser side, things get shifted. So we'll feature Game 9 with the Dallas Tigers and the Acadiana Cajuns. The Cajuns stole home in the very first inning to start things off in this game and took an early 1-0 lead. In the top of the second, Dallas committed several errors. Acadiana busted it wide open, scoring 7 runs to make it 8-0 after just an inning half of play. But the Dallas Tigers added 6 of their own runs in the bottom of the second to make it 8-6. Acadiana added 2 more in the third to make it 10-6. But Dallas wouldn't go away. They scored 2 in the fourth, made it 10-8. And that was the score after 4 innings. Now, Acadiana would add 2 more later in the game. Dallas would do the same thing, but in the end, it was the Acadiana Cajuns outlasting and eliminating the Dallas Tigers by a score of 12-10. Game 8 was also an elimination game and played at the sports complex. It was a Texas matchup. It was the Doolin Dodgers and the Dallas Patriots. The Doolin Dodgers took an early lead 2-0 over the Patriots after just 2 innings. The Patriots were able to get a run on the board, but the Doolin Dodgers would add 2 more runs later in the game to make it 4-1, and that's where this one would end. The Doolin Dodgers eliminate the Dallas Patriots by a score of 4-1, and the Dallas Patriots are eliminated from the 2024 Connie Mack World Series. Game number 10 was our first winners bracket game at Ricketts Park yesterday, and it was between the Midland Redskins and Tulsa Sandlot. Although on the bracket, game number 10, if you had the original bracket, was a late night game because the host team was involved still in the tournament. They moved the host team to the late game at Ricketts Park last night, which we'll get to. So Midland took an early lead by scoring 2 in the top of the second inning, aided by a couple hits batsmen and a couple singles. Sandlot cut into their lead with an extended inning in the bottom of the third and added 1. In the top of the fourth, Midland got on the board again. They added 2 runs to make it 4-1 after 3.5 innings of play. Sandlot added 2 in the bottom half of the fourth to make it a 4-3 ball game. Sandlot threatened in the bottom of the fifth but came up scoreless. In the sixth, Tulsa committed several errors and Midland took advantage of it and scored 4 to make it 8-3. Sandlot was able to load the bases in the bottom of the sixth, but they came up empty. Midland added 3 more runs in the seventh. They win game number 10, 11-3, and they advanced to round 3 as one of 3 undefeated teams in this year's Connie Mack World Series. Game number 11 in your bracket was another winner's bracket game yesterday at Ricketts Park. The Mississauga Tigers from Canada and the North Texas Longhorns. North Texas Longhorns scored 3 in the second and then added 5 more in the fourth to extend their lead to 8-0 through the top half of the fourth inning. They added another 3 runs late in the game, and Mississauga was only able to get 1 on the board. This one ended early. North Texas Longhorns are 2-0, advance in the winner's bracket as one of 3 teams still undefeated in the Connie Mack World Series and win this one 11-1. Game number 12 was the final winner's bracket game at Ricketts Park yesterday, and it featured 2 teams that are very familiar with not only each other but the Connie Mack World Series and Farmington. It was DBAT United and the Southern Cal Renegades. Southern Cal struck first with 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning and did not score until the fourth, but they added 3 more. DBAT was able to score in the sixth, but again, SoCal added even more runs late in the game. They scored 4, and as a result, this game ends early between Southern California and DBAT. The final score was 9-1, and so Southern California is the 3rd and final undefeated team to advance to the next round here in the Connie Mack World Series. But this win was very significant for them because not only do they advance to the next round, but they get a bye through round 3, and they automatically advance all the way into Thursday into round 4. So a very fortunate opportunity for Southern California to be undefeated, and they will not play again until later this week at Ricketts Park. Obviously, their opponent will be determined on the outcome of games as we continue our coverage of the Connie Mack World Series. And to wrap it up, even though we're going all the way back to Game 7, that's because it was the last game played at Ricketts Park tonight, and it featured the Farmington Frackers, the host team, taking on the Texas 12. This was an elimination game, and it was all Texas 12 in this one. They out-hit the Farmington Frackers by 14-2, but more importantly, outscored them 13-4. This one would end early as Texas 12 dominated. They will advance on in the Connie Mack World Series, and unfortunately, with this loss, the Frackers, our host team, is eliminated from this year's Connie Mack World Series. We have 4 games for you today at Ricketts Park. They start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to be a quick turnaround because the Texas 12, who won their game last night against the host team and eliminated the host team, has to turn around right at 10 o'clock today and play the Doolin Dodgers. That will be an elimination game. Again, game time at 10 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, it'll be the Acadiana Cajuns taking on Tulsa Sandlot. Again, another elimination game here at Ricketts Park. At 5:15, the third elimination game of the day, the Mississauga Tigers from Canada taking on DBAT. The only winner's bracket game that will happen today will be at 7:30. That's when the Midland Redskins take on the North Texas Longhorns. Both those teams undefeated. Southern California will not play today. They automatically got a bye as a result of their win over DBAT, and they advance into round 4. We invite you to tune in and hear each and every pitch. We appreciate you listening, and it's always our pleasure to bring you coverage of the Connie Mack World Series. This has been a Connie Mack World Series recap with Coach Carp.